Have you been feeling like you can't find time for self-care? Then you need to listen to this episode.
You're listening to the Dynamic Women podcast. Each week, you'll be inspired by our global community of women. They'll share with you tools and stories to help you be dynamic in every area of life. Here's your host, award-winning coach, and the CEO and founder of Dynamic Women, Diane Ralston.
Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I'm Diane Ralston, your host, and today we have beauty expert, clean beauty expert, and self-care enthusiast Stephanie Kia is with us. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so glad you're here. You've been part of a lot of things that I've done, like the Confidence Summit, the Confidence Secrets book, a lot of other things that we've been connecting on. And so I'm so happy to bring you to our audience today, because this topic today around self-care not being an option has to be said. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I like getting involved in fun stuff.
Yeah. And sharing your expertise as well. So listeners, let me tell you a little bit more about who Stephanie is. So she's been into makeup artistry since high school. So in 2013, she made the switch to cleaner, safer products and never looked back. So it must be a good thing, right? There weren't as many options back then compared to what there is available now. And her passion for safer products has led her to where she is today, and her clients are loving it. Stephanie specializes in makeup and hair for weddings and photo shoots using cruelty-free, toxin-free products. So good. And she also does lash lifts, lash extensions, and beauty education. And over the past few years, she also started selling toxin-free clean products and loves educating people on the benefits. All the things that I don't really know about. And so I'm glad you know about them, Stephanie. It's so good. So good. So what's the company that you represent? Just so that we know, so that when we're talking about it, people aren't wondering the whole time.
Well, there's a few. So
okay.
I'm partnered with a company called Beauty Counter, but I also do sales for Sappho New Paradigm. I've done, there's Adore Eyes, which is like lash and brow enhancing serum. And then there's Luna Nectar, which is also lash and brow enhancing serum, but they've got some other products with them now too. Ativo Skincare, Sweetly Lani Cosmetics. I'd say those are like the main ones that I talk about.
Yeah. You've got a nice assortment. What I like about that is it's going to be good for anyone's kind of desire of what they like in different products, and you'll be able to share that.
It's a good variety, because not everything is going to work for one person. Like I can't say, hey, like try this Beauty Counter skincare line because it's great. Like it might not work for you, and that's okay. And if it doesn't, there's other options that I have available. So
awesome.
One thing, it's never a one size fits all. So I really try to keep a good variety and different price points too, because not everybody wants to spend like, I don't know, let's, for example, $85 on a cleanser.
Yeah, understandable.
Some people only want to spend $30 on a cleanser.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Now, how did you get started in the beauty industry?
In high school, I had a friend that actually introduced me to makeup, because my mom never really did. She was a little into makeup, but she's never good at it. Sorry, Mom. So after she showed it to me, I thought it was really cool how you could completely change your appearance or just enhance your appearance. And so from there, I went to Blanche Macdonald in 2006 for the makeup artistry diploma program. And I've been in love since. Although it's funny, because I originally want to get into TV and film, and I finished the program just wanting nothing to do with TV and film. I like the whole beauty side of it. I like making people feel good. I like the people sitting in my chair to actually want to be sitting in my chair and I want to be able to do what they want me to do.
Yeah. A lot of the listeners that we have, they are either business owners themselves or leaders in, some sort of industry company, or they're maybe in a job with a bit of a side hustle, and they might be thinking that of leaving their job. And I know that this episode is not necessarily straightforward about that, but I feel it also is in alignment with self-care, right? Caring
Yeah.
for yourself enough to put your passion and your priorities first. And I know that at one point you had to leave a job to go full-time into your business. So do you have a few tips on how to be able to do that, or what you learned in that process?
Okay, well, it's definitely a very scary thought to have, leaving your job to pursue your passion full time, right? Especially if your business isn't producing the income that you need to survive yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest tip I would say is have like 1 to 2 months worth of cash saved up that can help float you by while you do build it, because you'll build it fast. Like when that's like your only source of income, you'll build it fast. You have no choice but to build it fast.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do that within the first month. So that was really good. But yeah, like the decision to leave was not an easy decision for me being in the family business.
Yeah.
But this really is my passion, and having to deal with 2 very different industries and very different jobs was just taking too much of a toll on me, like mentally. And I was here and there all the time, and my kids had this crazy schedule, and it just became too much to be driving all the time everywhere and trying to deal with different things and not being able to focus on what I actually love to do. Like I loved my job, I did, but this is my passion.
Yeah.
And so making that decision, it was a really tough decision at first to make. I think I cried for about an hour after I thought about it. And then I was like, no, like this is right. And then I suddenly felt relieved after I made this decision. So
Yes.
I had this like bit of relief. It was like this weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I'm like, oh, okay, this feels good. Like it was scary to make the decision, but it felt good after I made the decision. And then my last day at work was kind of sad at the same time, because I really liked the people that I worked with, and I still go see them once in a while. But being able to do my thing every day, I get to choose who I want to work with. I get to choose when I want to work. I get to make all of my own decisions, and I get to have a lot of fun doing it. So I've been able to do a lot more makeup and hair and help women feel really good for their headshots or their wedding or whatever they've got going on, which has picked up again, which is great.
Yeah.
It was very so many unknowns. So yeah, leaving, and especially during a pandemic, I left my job and went full-time in my beauty business during a pandemic. That's scary on its own. But after I did it, like it just goes to show that there is money to be made in your beauty business without just doing services. So there's product sales, there's stuff that you can do online. There's so many options. And since I've had the time to actually do them, it's just opened up a lot more things, and I've been able to do a little bit more and put the effort into it. And so I would definitely say like save up a little bit at first, but when you make it impossible to fail, like you're determined, you're motivated, you're going to do it.
Yeah. It's like burn the ships. You just got to go burn the ships, and you're
jump
there.
In with 2 feet.
Yeah.
We can say 1 foot in, 1 foot out is never going to get you further. And I learned that firsthand for years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because before you said that you would have done it sooner, but the fact is you did it, and you didn't do it 25, 30 years from now, when it's kind of too late. I had a client who came to me that had been working for his family for so long. His wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and he wanted her to be able to do that as well. And he only 25 years after being in a job that he didn't want to be in said to me, Diane, I now get to act on one of my business ideas, because he had like a file of 100 and something ideas. And I'm glad you're doing it now. And I hope that brings maybe 1 or 2 of our listeners to that point of like, yes, I need to focus on my passion.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I had projects that I wanted to do before too, that I just didn't have time to. I would attempt to start it, and then I would just fail horribly at it because I just didn't have the time to put into it. Yeah. I mean, I don't say fail as in like I failed and didn't try again. I failed and learned from that, and then waited until I actually had the time to put into it and do it properly. Yeah. We can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now you're passionate about beauty, clean beauty, and you're passionate about self-care. We're going to get to self-care in a moment, but first I want to just ask, like, why clean beauty? What it makes that so important to you? Because every day we as consumers have the choice with our dollars to be buying clean or not buying clean. So what made you want to do that, and what had you make the switch?
Well, for years before I switched my pro kit, I was already starting to use like cleaner products on myself, even from like toothpaste and shampoo and conditioner, body wash, makeup, skincare. Like I was slowly just making those switches myself.
Yeah, everything.
And then even laundry detergent, dishwash, like kind of, and cleaning products, just everything. Like I learned what was in our products and realized the impact that it can make on us down the road. Maybe not necessarily right now, but long-term health impacts. Like if you look at the amount of people now that are getting all these different diseases, you know, it's a compilation of everything. It's the food that we're eating. It's the cleaning products, the fragrances that we're breathing in, like all those harsh chemicals. It's the body wash that you're using. It's the moisturizer that you're putting on your skin and it's soaking into your body. Like it's a combination of everything. And so I felt that making that switch, I could live that healthier lifestyle. And, you know, like I want to be as healthy as I can for as long as I can. And there's so many people with asthma, and that's to do with a lot of the fragrances and harsh chemicals that we're breathing in from like a lot of the cleaning products.
Yeah.
And even like hairsprays and even some makeup, like powders, like you breathe in that powder. There's a lot of bad stuff in some of the makeup powders that you end up inhaling, not intentionally, obviously,
Yeah.
but you do as you're applying it. So just so many things. And then everything that you put on, like it does absorb into your skin. Like a lot of the ingredients can absorb into your bloodstream. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a huge difference since I made the switch to everything clean and as toxin free as I possibly can be. There's certain things you obviously can't avoid, and you kind of just have to pick your battles, like pick and choose what's the most important to you. But you'll definitely feel like I feel better and my skin is doing so much better, and I don't have any breathing issues. I don't have asthma. Like my kids are fine. We've got no major health issues in my family, in my house. And yeah, I wouldn't go back to using any of that stuff. My skin used to break out putting on a liquid foundation. And so I was afraid of liquid foundation for a long time until I finally found one that worked. And it was a mineral-based one, like completely clean and free of those ingredients that were irritating my skin. Like I suffered from acne for so long. And the only thing that worked on it was the clean stuff, because everything else was harsh and drying and left me with scars. Wow. And the clean products, the safer, clean products, healed all of those scars. And I don't break out as often anymore. And when I do, it doesn't leave a mark anymore like it used to, because I'm hydrating. I'm putting like actual nourishing ingredients on my skin, and it's making a difference. And the clean makeup I find feels really light too. So when I do makeup for my clients, they're like, oh, it feels like nothing. Because that's usually, a lot of my clients say I don't really wear foundation because it feels heavy and gross.
Cakey, yeah.
And I do their makeup and they're like, ooh, this is nice.
Now we got to get into the self-care piece.
Yeah.
So is clean beauty about self-care? Like how do you define self-care and what makes it so important?
Self-care to me is whatever you can do for yourself that feels good. So whether it's going out to get a facial treatment or doing your own at home. And so obviously I use all my clean beauty products, and there's so many awesome things that you can have, like your own little facial at home. Maybe you like to soak in the tub, so you can use like your clean products in the tub. It's either like a nice bath bomb or salt, essential oils, stuff like that just it tickles your senses kind of, and just like relaxes you.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get into that like little kind of Zen mode where you can just like shut everything off and just be for that few minutes. Or I mean, some people like to go get their lashes done as part of their self-care routine. I like to drink wine with a face mask on, not the one that covers your mouth, but the one that treats your skin.
Yeah.
So that's something that I do quite often for self-care, wine and a facial treatment. So there's many forms of self-care, but it's anything that you can do like by yourself, like in peace and quiet, and just be.
Yeah. But what's so important about just being?
It helps release tension and stress.
Mm.
So when you're doing things that feel good, your body is like for me, I just find that it releases a lot of tension and stress in my life and in my body. Like sometimes at the end of my day, it's just been such a busy day that I'm so tense from everything that I just need to relax.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I like to do for myself. Or even like every once in a while, if I want to go get a facial treatment, I'm lying there just not moving for like an hour while somebody else does something on my face, and I can just enjoy and relax.
Yeah. And that's so important, especially as a business owner and a busy mom, that we have those moments where we can just chill. I can remember a time when I was on an acupuncturist's table and she put the needles in and she said, "You good?" And I'm, "Yep." And they leave and you're there. And she said, right before she left, she said, "And just relax because no one needs you right now."
Yeah.
I started crying because I was like, "You're so right." Right? Nobody needs you right now. And it's not, yes, it's the health benefits of soaking in a magnesium bath, or it's the skin benefits of putting clean products on, but it's also for your mental sanity.
Yes.
Right? For your mental sanity. Now, days that you don't get to do self-care, because we've said basically self-care is it's not an option, it's a necessity. So what happens on days when you're like, I can't get my self-care in? Like, how does that negatively impact you?
I definitely feel a little bit more like go, go, go. And I have a hard time getting to sleep if I don't have some of that me time at the end of my day. I'm a mom too, right? I've got 2 young kids, and I need my time at the end of the day. Like even just like half an hour to an hour of just like peace and quiet where nobody's bothering me and I can just like do my thing for a little bit. Sometimes I end up coming downstairs into my studio and just hang out here. But yeah, if I don't get that, I feel like I have a harder time getting to sleep because my brain is still going and I haven't had that time for it to shut down yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fun thing about self-care is it can be beauty based, it can be artistic creativity based. Like you probably get in the zone when you're working on your own makeup. It's almost like meditative for you. And if we go back to, I was mentioning that your products or your beauty counter products, if anyone is wanting to try, you've got 2 options. One, go straight to the source, go talk to Stephanie. Show notes will have website info on social media and all that. So that's one option. Go straight to Stephanie to try out some of the products. Or you can pick up the Confidence Summit box that also has the whole beauty regime in there of the cleanser.
Set,
What is it called?
The sample set.
Sample set.
With the cleanser, toner, serum, moisturizer. Yeah.
So you could try that whole thing. And we also have other things in there that also bring in that self-care piece to shut your mind off, which is something like Rose Cap's cards that we have there. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, that's awesome. If you want to see Stephanie's beautiful face and her makeup and the card that I'm holding up now, just go to YouTube on my YouTube channel, Diane Ralston. You'll see the video of this interview as well. And the coloring can be a self-care. Now, how do you teach self-care to your kids, or do you?
I don't really do that with my kids, to be honest, but I do need to work on getting into that.
Well, let's
just when they want to, they do their own thing when they want. Like my daughter likes to draw.
Yeah.
Actually, both my kids love to draw. That's another form of self-care too, art. So both of my kids love to draw. So they'll sit there and draw like these amazing little pictures. They both like to build things. Lego's a big one for them. So they like to like have some of their time by themselves too, but then they also like to do things together.
Yeah. And so it's funny, like when you said, I guess I don't really do that, I maybe should do that. By no means was I asking that question as a way to throw you off or shame you or anything. But I think it brings up a really good point of the comment you said after was, my kids just do their own thing. Like we don't necessarily have to teach children self-care when they're young because they're able to play and they're able to go into their imaginative world. And I think it's when children become adults, or when we make them become more like adults when they're young, that they don't get into that place. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So maybe it's just more so moms, we just need to make sure that our kids are mentally good using clean products, and that we teach them in the future, or maybe show them by an example. I'm sure your kids are like, oh, mommy's having her bath, we got to leave her alone, let her have her mommy time. Or do they say that, or do they notice that, or do they barge in and bother you?
No, they notice when I'm having my wine.
Because you're a bit of a wine addict.
Just a little bit.
Okay? Yeah.
Love my glass of red. Yeah, when I ask them to leave me alone, they're usually pretty good. Like, I'm pretty fortunate in that way that my kids kind of have learned from a baby to, like, I have things going on too. And so I've kind of taught them to be a little bit more independent when I needed it. Yeah. Like when I'm downstairs in my studio, they know not to come bother me unless they really need something. And they're usually really good about it. I would say 90% of the time, they will leave me alone when I'm down here to do whatever I need to do. So whether I'm working on a client, or whether I'm just working on my laptop, or whether I just needed to come down here for some quiet time.
Yeah. And I think that's really great to teach kids about boundaries and personal space, and letting others have their own time. That's really important. And do you find that your husband and you have different ways of self-care?
Yes.
That sounded like a very loaded answer. Yes. Okay. Do tell, because I'm sure listeners, you're like, okay, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, he's not into like having bubble baths or sitting and drinking wine. Sometimes he'll sit and have a glass of wine with me and we'll watch a show, but he likes to have his time outside. He used to have like a bit more of a demanding job where he was dealing with, actually, he still deals with a lot of people every day in a different environment. So he likes to have his time. So when he comes home, like, we'll have our family time, but he'll often sit outside when I need my time. He likes to sit outside. I don't know. Even throughout the winter, he sits outside and does his thing out there and has his own quiet time. And then I'll do my thing inside. And sometimes we'll sit down together and watch a show or play a card game or do something together. But usually at the end of the day, like, we're both just so exhausted.
Yeah.
Especially a busy day.
Yeah. Now I've got a final question. And before I get you, I'll tell you what it is, then I'll share something, and then I'll ask you the answer.
Okay.
So just the final question is, if a listener out there is not taking self-care because they're maybe like, I don't have time, or I don't have the resources, or whatever, like, what would you say to them? So in a moment, I'm going to get you to answer that. And just speaking of like my husband, I actually learned a lot about self-care with my husband, and it wasn't about the spa day or like purposefully just being like, it's my time. He's not like that. But it was one day we were sitting there, and it's when I probably had, 2 kids under 3 sort of time. And he comes in from work and he hangs out a bit, he has his dinner, and then he goes upstairs. And I'm like, where did he just go? Like, what happened? And then I hear the shower on. I'm like, are you serious? The kids are still awake and you went and had a shower? This is all in my head. You went and had a shower? I want a shower. I haven't had a shower today. I didn't get a shower, but you just would go and take it. You didn't even check in with me. I would check in with you and make sure the kids were good and everything was good and all this. And then I thought, Diane, he just taught you something. If you want to have a shower, go take a shower. If you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. If you want to have a bath. If you want to chill out, if you want to read a book, do it. You don't need to make sure that everyone in your life is perfectly okay with you doing it at that moment.
It's such a mom thing too.
We put everyone's needs before our own.
Yeah.
And listeners, I'm not going to tell you the moral of that story. I'll let you just figure it out yourself.
No, that happens in my house too, though. And yeah, that's a good point. They're teaching us a lesson. Just go do it.
Just go do it, because they have given themselves permission to do it.
Yeah.
And so when I said to him after, I said, you just went and showered. He goes, yeah, I needed a shower. And I'm like, I know, but I do too. I didn't take it. He goes, well, why not? Just go take a shower. I'm like, well, the kids. He goes, that's fine.
It's so simple to them. Just go take a shower.
Yeah, exactly. So final message here. What would you tell someone that's just not taking care of themselves?
Start putting some time aside for yourself. Block it off in your calendar. Even if it's 5 minutes, like just start small. Like I know life gets busy. I mean, I've got 2 kids and a business and a job on top of that before, and a house to deal with, and a big garden. I have to water the thing every day just to keep all my plants alive. But my tomatoes are like, oh, amazing. Side note.
Yep.
But yeah, just at least 5 minutes. Just start with 5 minutes of just giving you some you time.
Yeah.
Because it's important. Even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, maybe try a meditation in the morning. I've never really gotten into the meditation thing, but a lot of people say it works. So maybe even just 5 minutes of like your you time in the morning. If you've got kids, maybe just try and get up a few minutes before them and just quietly get up and just have your relaxing few minutes before they do, or after they go to bed. Like I know there's laundry to be done and there's dishes, and I don't know, you probably have toys all over your living room. It happens. Just ignore it and just sit down. Grab a glass of wine or whatever you're drinking, water, I don't care. Just sit down and just ignore all of it for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And just chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we all have messy houses. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Stephanie, as we bring this to a close, I want to thank you for bringing your story of, how your skin was and how you found the solution to it and how you've taken care of yourself through kind of all the craziness. And listeners, Stephanie has a really great Facebook group where she talks about products that are clean, and so it takes the guesswork out of it. We are all busy. And so I don't want to go online and be like, is my shampoo safe for me? Or is this makeup okay? I'm not going to be in like one of the makeup departments and be like, is this foundation good? Or should I have this one? And trying to read the labels and all this. Stephanie takes the guesswork out of it. Join her Facebook group. It's going to be in the show notes. You can just click through and join. And she does like makeup videos and talks about clean beauty and just takes the guesswork out of it, because you're busy enough. Just trust that she knows what she's doing, because she's passionate about going through that. So thank you again, Stephanie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So all of you lovely Dynamic Women podcast listeners, please subscribe. And I'm sure you've got a girlfriend who is not taking care of herself. Please share this episode with her. And if you would like to write a review, let us know what you think of this episode. And if you have recommendations for other amazing experts and dynamic women that we should bring on here, let me know as well. So until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.
Thank you, Dynamic Women, for joining us today. Please hop on over to iTunes to subscribe and leave us a review. Who do you know who needs to hear our message? We'd love it if you'd share our channel with your friends and family. If you're ready to be more dynamic, have more balance and more success, head over to www.dynamicwomenclub.com/free gift for your Key to Success book. Stay dynamic.